What's up, everybody? Tom Pelissero here at Soldier Field shortly after the Vikings 39-10 loss, and loss is an understatement, to the Chicago Bears. This was a game that really hammered home so many of the different points about this team. Donovan McNabb actually said it best after the game, which is every play, it seems like it's something. There are so many levels on which the Vikings basically humiliated themselves, which was to use the word that Brian Robinson used, that it was a humiliating loss. There were so many things that went wrong. There are so many fundamental errors. When you're 6 games into a season, you have a veteran quarterback, you have a bunch of veterans on this team, you've been waiting, you've been delaying the youth movement to an extent. You should not be having these persistent, repeated errors, whether it's dropped passes, whether it's missed passes, whether it's penalties, whether it's fair catching a football on the 5-yard line for no apparent reason. All these sorts of things just add up one after another. Blown coverages. Guys just, so it's one thing to get beat, but they're making the same sorts of errors over and over to allow a team like Chicago to just really beat up on them. Why do you kick the ball to Devin Hester after you get a potentially momentum changing turnover followed by a touchdown? How do you go into the 2-minute warning, send your field goal unit out, then use a timeout? How did you need 3 or 4 minutes to be able to make a decision about what play you would want to run if you went forward on 4th down? There's a lot of things here. Visantyshenko said it's time to do self-evaluation. He's been saying that for a few weeks, but when I asked Leslie Frazier after this game directly, will Donovan McNabb be your quarterback next week? He said, we're going to sit down on Monday and talk about a lot of things and figure out what's the best direction to go. It's not just about McNabb. It's about the entire thing here. The trading deadline is Tuesday. I do wonder if they're going to be feeling out a market. In fact, I'm pretty sure that they will at least feel out a market. Not necessarily for some of the guys that have been mentioned. It'd be crazy to trade Jared Allen, who's still only 29 years old, is still playing at an elite level right now. Even if you get a first-round pick for him, it wouldn't make any sense. But guys like Embarrassment, who still could have value to a team, even though he hasn't really done anything this season in Minnesota, and does look like a guy who's nearing the end of his career. Is there a market for a guy like that? Is there a market for Visantyshenko? Is there a market for E.J. Henderson? Some of these guys who are on the wrong side of age 30 are in contract years. This is the end of the road. This is your last opportunity to get something for these players. I think that those are things the Vikings have to explore this week. You just look at a game like this. They got their asses kicked up and down the field for so many different reasons. It was the Bears who made the adjustments, going to putting a safety down in the box to gang up and help out that run defense. And then the offensive side of the ball, keeping in extra protectors, keeping the Vikings pass rush at bay, and letting Cutler do what he does best, which is fit passes into tight windows. He committed the 1 turnover today, otherwise was very good in this football game. And the Vikings, on the other hand, are seeing 8-man boxes, and they don't have a quarterback who can exploit it. They have a 3rd and 4 play in the red zone, and they call a quarterback sweep to Joe Webb. This is a play from the 1930s, basically. They're setting offensive football back decades right now. There's so many issues here, and I hesitate to pin too much on the coaching staff because I look at what they have to work with, and you say that there are some holes. But at the same time, when you have Adrian Peterson and Percy Harvin, you do have some people. Can you get more out of them? That's stuff that's going to be tough to answer until they have a quarterback who's going to be able to function and do things in the offense. I think Christian Ponder's debut showed positive signs. It showed some of the same things we saw in the preseason, both positively and negatively, which is he really feels pressure well. He can move. He can extend plays with his feet. He can get out of the pocket. He's much more athletic than people give him credit for. Some of his passes were off target. Some of the ones, the rhythm throws, though, were on target. And those are some of the passes that Donovan McNabb has struggled with. I think that the Vikings have to strongly consider putting Ponder out there. Even though he's going to take his lumps, it's a different sort of a thing. Was there a marked difference from when Donovan McNabb was in the game to when Christian Ponder was in the game in terms of the Vikings' ability to move the football? Not really. And instead of it being the quarterback who's not there and is declining and is 34 and has no chance to be on this team next year and going through the motions, you can kind of flip the game here and make it that it's the young guy playing through his mistakes and trying to get better. Now, at the same time, if Phil Lothal with that knee, even though Frazier said he should play, but Sullivan sitting out with a concussion potentially for this next game, if they feel like Christian Ponder is going to get killed back there, then maybe they have to go a different direction. I have a flight in like 3 hours, so I should probably get out of here. I'll be back reviewing the tape tomorrow, and Judd Zolgad will be out of Winter Park. See you.